I just wrapped up watching what could only be described as just an awesome night of hoops. We had three really good games tonight, or three games that I was interested in. Two of them ended up being good. One did not. The Rockets played Boston, which I found interesting. Just Houston being one of my favorite teams to watch on League Pass. Young, athletic, really good defensively. No Jabari Smith, sadly, broke his hand today in shoot around, which is kind of wild. They played Boston, probably the best team in the NBA, them or Oklahoma City, who played against the Knicks, number one offense in the NBA, playing against the number one defense. And then we had San Antonio and Denver, Wemby playing against Jokic. And I want to start with Boston and Houston because this game ended up not being very close. Boston was up by 20 late. I ended up turning it off. I've really only got a couple takeaways in that game. Jaylen Brown didn't play. And it's kind of nice when Jaylen Brown doesn't play for the Celtics, not because he doesn't make them better, but Drew Holiday just gets to remind everybody how awesome he is on the offensive side of the floor when he has the ball, more than what he does now and just kind of this superstar role player kind of role where he's going to defend the opposition's best player and he's going to rebound and he's just going to make every play that needs to be made in order for Boston to win, because that's just what he does. The entire time that he's been there, he took more shots, he was just way more aggressive, and it's just a nice little reminder that Drew Holiday is an absolute bucket whenever he needs to be. So I thought that was big. Houston's need for a true number one scorer was just blatantly obvious tonight. They had a 6-minute stretch in the third quarter where they didn't really make a field goal. Jalen Green had some awesome moments, but he was not awesome in that 6-minute stretch. Alperen Sengun came out really aggressive, got Porzingis in foul trouble. But they clearly need a number one scorer, so maybe a Jimmy Butler trade happens. I don't know. We'll see. My other takeaway is just how much easier Kristaps Porzingis makes things for Boston. Usually look like they're spaced out, five wide, and then Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Jason Tatum, someone who can handle the basketball, beats their guy off the bounce, they collapse, and then there's a kick out, and then the ball swings, and then the defense is just chasing the ball because spacing starts at the rim. Now when you bring in Porzingis, he just gives them another way to first and foremost get easy buckets. Like if he catches the ball at the foul line or the elbow, he's going to make that shot. And then secondly, this is another guy who can put the ball on the deck and post up and make teams rotate. He just makes things so much easier for them, and that doesn't even include the fact that he's a legitimate anchor on the defensive end of the floor. He makes them unbeatable. That's just really kind of the way it feels whenever he plays. So those are kind of my two big notes on that game. Moving to New York and New York and Oklahoma City. First half, Knicks looked awesome. They consistently got awesome shots against the best defense in the NBA. They scored 66 points. Mikal Bridges kind of has this Drew Holiday thing where he's just such an awesome defender that you can kind of forget sometimes that he's also this amazing offensive player as well. The fact that he's the third best scorer on that team is nuts, and it's why the Knicks have legitimate hopes of winning and definitely contending, but potentially winning an NBA title because they have a guy in Mikal Bridges who's their third best scorer. That being said, the Knicks clearly have a depth issue. That's why they lost tonight. All five starters played over 40 minutes. Shamet off the bench was the only guy who played more than 10 minutes. There is clearly a depth issue on that team that they just have a lack of different options to really go to. It's here's our starters. We're going to try and give them breaks every now and then, but this is what we have. Either you're better than us and you aren't. And I just like playoff teams that have options, and the Oklahoma City Thunder do. They haven't lost a game in over a month. They close out the Knicks because Aaron Wiggins decides to score 16 points in the fourth quarter, which was just nothing short of insane. And on top of that, they've got one of the best players in the NBA in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's just smoother than butter. I don't even know how to describe him. I really don't. You watch Luka Doncic play, and he's clearly playing really slow. And then you watch Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and it looks like he's playing slow, but he's really not. He's blazing quick and blazing fast. He's just so smooth that it looks slow. It's incredible to watch. And, he gets to the rim whenever he wants, shoots the ball really well. Obviously, from mid range, he can get a good look whenever he wants. We got a really good version of Jalen Williams tonight, just downhill, getting to the rim, being disruptive on defense. I mean, the Thunder are just absolutely loaded. They've got a ton of depth. That's why they were able to win. Isaiah Joe hit a couple big shots, and of course, Aaron Wiggins going crazy there in the fourth quarter allowed them to pull that game out. Hartenstein just continuing to rebound and play good defense, and his passing just makes their offense so much easier. It's really quite incredible. Both him, look, when you have a big guy who can pass, it just makes things incredibly, it's just so much easier. Like, I noticed that really in all three games. Like, Porzingis, probably the worst passer of all the centers that I watched tonight, but he's still a good enough passer that the offense can still work and move. And then when you have guys like Sengun and Hartenstein and obviously Jokic who can really make tough passes, it just makes the offense that much better. So Thunder just continue to be impressive. The Knicks have a pretty clear depth issue. They're going to have to do something to address that if they're going to want to beat teams like the Boston Celtics in the playoffs. And then finally, we had a little Jokic and Wemby thing, which was kind of disappointing. Both guys were in foul trouble at different points during the game. But with that being said, I love watching these guys play because they're just two of the most unique players in the NBA for obvious reason. Wemby being this freak 7'4", athletic, quick center, and then you got Jokic who, could be your mailman, and it probably wouldn't surprise you outside of the fact that he's 7 feet tall. And just watching them try to figure each other out, more specifically Jokic figure out Wemby. And Jokic's answer tonight, he had 41, 18, and 9, by the way. His answer tonight was just to take a whole bunch of threes. Like, he's shooting 49% from three on the year on 4.5 attempts, which is a career high for him. Tonight, Jokic took 10 threes. Okay, and most of them came when Victor Wembanyama was on the floor. And that is really still, as much improved as Wemby is on offense, his impact on defense it's second to none. Okay, the Denver Nuggets, last time I checked, they attempted the least amount of threes per game in the NBA. By a pretty decent margin. They're hovering around that 30 threes per game mark. Tonight they took 40. Okay, Jokic took twice as many threes as normal. Wemby's ability to just push teams out away from the rim is really quite impressive. And then obviously on offense, the dude shot the ball incredibly well, 4 of 6 from 3. He finished with 35 points, 18 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. He was plus 17 and was undoubtedly the reason why the Spurs won. Every time Jokic and Wemby face off, I will tune in every single time. Wish we'd gotten more minutes with them both not in foul trouble on the floor, just because, I don't know, I like watching Jokic try to post him up and try to figure out how to get shots over this freakishly tall and long dude. Just an excellent night of basketball, kind of getting to see how all these different teams play and how all these awesome players affect the game differently. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and me running through my chicken scratch notes. If you did, make sure you like the video, subscribe, do all those things. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.